Hey guys, Nick Friend here, and today I'm very delighted to have Michael, the Managing Director from Eyeon Property Inspections, mate. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Nick. Great. Happy to be here.
Now, mate, a lot to cover today, but the reason that I wanted to have a chat to you is we're seeing a lot of agents at the moment start to get ready for spring, and we're also seeing a lot of agents at the moment, especially here in Sydney, who are struggling to progress, I suppose, their listings, and owners who are, what do we do at the moment? But there's actually two things there. There's actually a lot that can be done while we're in lockdown and in the lead up to spring, and very strategically. So I think, number one, why don't you explain who you are and what Eyeon does? Because I've worked with you guys for years. So yeah, give you the platform.
Look, thanks, Nick. Look, really simply, we do building and timber pest inspection reports and strata records inspection reports. So whether you're selling a house or selling an apartment, we can help you. I think one of the key things I would say, and this is our experience dealing with agents for over 10 years in this business, is that they can get a lot of value from these reports for their vendors, for themselves, and for buyers. The key thing is to remember is that this will also be the cheapest bit of the puzzle for an agent, the cheapest bit of marketing they can do. And it will add value to the marketing process. Definitely.
So I suppose, number one, and I've got a couple of questions to go through with you, if that's okay. I suppose everyone is, a lot of businesses are in lockdown. Are you guys conducting inspections and reports at the moment?
We are. Okay. So for strata inspections, we're doing them almost exclusively online. So we can't get access to the strata managers' offices, but they are, in most cases, able to provide us the records through either a link to a portal or through emailing documents to us or whatever. So yes, we are working and we can complete reports. We all work virtually anyway, so that's all fine. With building inspections, obviously it's a little bit more difficult, but we can, as long as we observe these strict one-on-one rules, we can do building inspections at the moment as well.
All right, perfect. So I think I spoke to your office later last week, and I'm led to believe that when we came out of lockdown last time, there was a surge for inspections and reports to be completed. Now, should agents and should owners wait, and this is just pertaining to the areas that are in lockdown at the moment, should they wait until lockdown is over to start thinking about getting these reports done? Would there be a delay if everyone comes to you guys at once? Or is this something that, it might be an idea to get it done while we're in lockdown?
So there's two elements with demand. One is, obviously, we've got a finite amount of resources. We did manage all the requests when we came out of lockdown last year. The bigger issue, though, was the strata managers struggle to manage. So we sometimes had to wait quite a few days to get a time to get access to records. So there's two areas there they need to be aware of. The other issue is timing as to when they're going to start marketing. What we always recommend to agents is don't get the reports done too early, because otherwise, if something else happens, having the fresh reports important, particularly for building inspections. They don't last forever, is the bottom line. So it's just a question of them gauging when they think they'll be able to start their marketing.
Okay, so if they were, even if it's not pertaining to lockdown, but if they were looking at putting a property on the market in September, is now too early, or is now okay to get that done?
Too early. I think, that's too early. So if let's say they're marketing starting first week in September, we would say last week, maybe last 10 days of August is the ideal time.
Okay, cool. And there's a lot of other stuff that owners can be doing in the meantime. We're talking to a conveyancer later today as well, and we'll talk about getting a contract prepared, sorted, because a lot of homeowners may not realise that can take up to 5 to 10 days to get all the all the stuff they need. So, and this is why I'm glad that you're on today, because there's a lot of things that go into getting a property ready for marketing, as you said. I don't homeowners just know the magnitude of everything involved. So
one of the, just on that, Nick, one thing I would say is that particularly for houses, one thing that owners can be doing now is they can be clearing stuff in areas of the property that our inspector would need to get to. Right. So particularly under a house, right, or in garages, that type of stuff, so that they can get access into those areas. Because if they can't get access, right, it sort of means they have to say, look, we couldn't get there, so we don't know if there's anything bad in there.
Right.
So making it easier for our inspector to come to see all the bits of your property makes a big difference and makes for a more complete report. So that's something they can definitely be getting onto now.
So, Michael, what about and I've had like I said, I've used Eyeon for years with my own career, and we have come up with, there's two obstacles sometimes that can come up. Number one, from the owner's point of view, why should I have to pay for a report? And number two, from the buyer's point of view, why isn't the owner providing a report? So I guess number one, for the owners out there that are, why should I pay for an inspection, or why should I pay for a report? I know what my answer would be, but what would your answer be? What would your guidance be in that situation?
Well, I think 2 points. First of all, you're going to make it easier for buyers to check your property out, and then, you know, it makes it quicker for them to make a decision. Okay. That's the bottom line. Yeah. You're also removing a cost for them, which could be an impediment for them buying. If they're looking at multiple properties and have to get multiple reports, it starts to become a problem for buyers. Right. From the buyer's perspective, you know, obviously it just makes it easier, quicker, and cheaper to get things done. So straightforward.
I suppose too, especially here in Sydney and in Sydney's east at the moment, well, everywhere really, properties are coming on and they're going very, very quickly. The one thing that's key for an agent, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with me here, and this is why I found your services to be invaluable, because it's literally, it's a link click that they can just buy and it's done. So I can text or email the link while they're still there in the open home. They can have access to a Strata report before they get in the car. And it's key for an agent to keep that momentum going, isn't it? And like you said, if they are looking at a couple of different properties, you don't want them to go home and start to go a little bit cold on your property, because everything that they need for the one next door, they've got everything. So they can actually make a decision very quickly. So that's probably the biggest thing for a homeowner, isn't it? To keep that momentum and that interest in that property so the agent can close the deal.
Precisely. Absolutely. In this market where there's a mismatch in demand and supply, you know, obviously speed is everything. So as you say, being able to access a report immediately is important. Okay. The other thing that's really important from the buyer side is being able to ask questions about information in the report, because a lot of people don't understand, particularly with Strata, they don't really understand everything about what they're buying into. So being able to ring up and speak to somebody and answer even their general questions and then specific questions about the building is really an important part of the service.
Right. Okay. So from that point of view, do you come up against, if you're completed a report for an owner where a buyer's a bit skeptical because it's the owner has prepared it, how would you, if an agent is going to come up against that, how would you guide them or speak to the buyer?
Well, okay, so the thing is, even though it's a link to our website.
Correct. Yeah.
So even though that the owner has gone to the trouble of getting a report prepared, they come to us to get the report. We then follow up with them automatically to say, have you got it? Do you have questions? Please call us if you do. So they're dealing with a third party. They're not dealing with the agent or the owner in that case. And I think that's a really important thing to bring up. Because that independence is important. And just on the flip side of that, our inspectors don't know whether they're doing a report for an owner or a buyer. Right. Our process is exactly the same all the time.
Right. Okay.
And so there's never any issue with independence. And every report we do gets audited by us in our office as well. So
okay. So I guess it's the other one I had was how can it help an agent win more listings? And I think it comes back to the whole, you want to do the right thing by the owner, but you also want to do the right thing by the purchaser. And I mean, I've come from the time where, you know, it's, well, if they're interested, you know, once they start putting their hand in their pocket, that I think, is that old school mentality now? I mean, are we, yes, we want to help the owner, but we also want to make the experience easy for the buyer, because they're just as nervous. And I think if you're giving them as much as you can, does that take away stress? Does it build credibility with the agent to get a sale across the line? And will that help properties? Will that help an agent in the listing process to say, we do it all, we've got it all covered for you?
Yeah. So I think this service really complements the other parts of the service an agent provides. Okay. Whether it's the marketing and sales side of it. Yeah. So what we're doing also, I think from the owner's perspective, is it can help to remove some stress. They get worried if there's something in my property that's a problem. So by getting a report done before the marketing even starts, right, it's possible for the agent to have a look and even talk to us. If there's any red flags there, they can address that. So for example, with a house, this is a really something that we do see periodically, is something will be in a report. So there might be, there might be some sort of risk under the house. Right. There might be a leak, a water leak, for example. Now they can actually get a plumber in, fix that water leak. And then usually, as long as we're happy, we see the photos, we see the invoices, we can then update the report so that that's no longer an issue at the property, right? Now the report reflects the current condition when you start your marketing. Yeah. If you had the report done midway through or a week before the auction, and all of a sudden there's a leak under the house, well, you can see what issues that brings out. So you can actually make the owner feel a lot less stressed about the process, I think, by getting this stuff moving early.
Well, and Michael, that's it. The last thing that you want in the last week of an auction campaign are dramas that you were not aware of.
No. And they're totally avoidable, right?
It's happened to me. I think it was years ago when I was still in Newcastle, and it wasn't an auction. It was a private treaty. I think it was, I can't remember where it was. And to be fair, it had been on the market for a while. We got it exchanged, cooling off period. I was so excited, full of white ants. And it was like, oh my God, this would have been helpful to know.
Yes.
Yeah. So if we come back to what you were saying as far as don't get it too early, I agree with you. I think getting an inspection done a week or two out from marketing is awesome because, number one, you've got everything there if you do find a buyer, and we've got off market as well. People are doing a lot of pre-market stuff as well. And it's good in that situation because if you do have something that's pre-market, you want to make sure that you've got everything available because it's not like an auction condition. If you get a buyer off market or pre-market, you want to be able to get it done. So if you get the inspection on, let's say, a house and there are dramas there, number one, like you said, it gives the owner the ability all the time to fix it. But it also gives a little bit of credibility for the agent if they can go to our buyer and say, we've had a report done. These issues have come up, we've rectified them, or we've had quotes to get them fixed because I've bought a couple of properties and I am a buyer and a sales agent. You look at something that might only be $100 repair job and all of a sudden in a buyer's mind, that's going to cost me 10 grand. It's like, well, no, it's going to cost you $100. We've had a quote. It helps everything, doesn't it?
Look, it does. So it's peace of mind for everybody. As you say, from an agent's perspective, God, that you get so far down the track, and all of a sudden this little bomb goes off, and it undermines all the work that's been done. So yes, why take that risk? And as I said at the start, this is a really low cost element in the cost of selling a property. So I sometimes get a little frustrated with the resistance about getting reports done because, look, plenty of agents now just factor it into their marketing budget. And it doesn't really add much money to it. It's a small cost in the scheme of things. Other agents even just pay for it themselves because they reckon that's how much benefit they see in it. We see some agents just springing for the cost.
Well, and I suppose it comes back to the whole, like you said, a week out from auction, or you've got a hot buyer that's ready to go, and all of a sudden there's a drama for the cost that's involved in getting this. Just that peace of mind, that knowledge to know that, okay, we've got a good product here. The last thing anybody wants is, you know, there's a lot that can go wrong in that last week of auction. You know, we can have a lockdown, we can have a buyer's finance fall over and all these kind of things. So it's the agent's job to make sure that buyer knows everything that's going on. So the buyer is aware of things that can occur. So, I mean, I know that as a sales agent, we want to look after the seller, but we want to make sure that buyer has absolutely all the information, all the questions answered, all their fears and all that kind of thing covered, so as they can roll up when they're ready to make an offer, they can do it with complete confidence, and you know that you've got a strong offer. It's not just an expression of interest kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Look, I do, and I think this service does help them look after the buyer, but it also adds that element of transparency into the process. Yeah, and I think that's really important. Yeah, because you know the buyer knows they've got to react quickly, but at the same time they can step away, digest the information, ask some questions, and then you know when they're feeling confident, yes, they can move forward. Okay. So yeah, I think it's a win. You know, we survey agents, we survey buyers, we survey vendors, and we get overwhelmingly positive feedback from all three sides. So
yeah, of course, of course. Yeah. All right, mate. Look, I think that's all I had. I did want to keep it as short as we could to get the value out. Now, I spoke with your office again this week, and I got a PDF. I think it's your marketing brochure. So that's going to go out to everyone with this video as well. So if they haven't spoken with you guys, anyone out there that's watching this, yes, I own a marketing agency, but I am a sales agent. I've used Eyeon in the past, and I can give them a testament as far as having that information up front, having that link, making it easy for a buyer. As I said, they can be in the property, and it's happened to me. They can be in the property, love the property, ready to put an offer on it, and they can have the contract for sale. They can have the ability to buy the Strata inspection or pest and building report before they get in the car. And that is key. That is a way to progress your buyer. And for owners out there, I would definitely recommend that you get these reports done in advance. So Michael, any last tips or give me some?
The only thing I'd say for any agents out there that haven't used our service, if you want to give us a try, we'll certainly give you a heavily discounted option to start with, so that you can see how our service operates, to make it really easy to check it out. But even if an agent comes to us and just wants to ask questions similar to the questions you've been asking me, of course, we're happy to talk to them and understand their individual situation, and really appreciate you giving us a bit of a platform to explain what we do. So I appreciate that.
No worries. And like I said, or I don't know if I've said, homeowners out there, when they are about to put a property on the market, hearing it from yourself as to where the benefits are, and not just from an agent all the time, but hearing it from someone in the business holds a lot of weight. So, mate, thank you very much for your time today. We'll drop your details everywhere, and all the best for those selling in spring.
Thanks, Nick. See you later.
See ya.